Hey everybody, today I'm back with another wedding layout for you. This is from my second nephew's wedding, and these are all layouts for my albums because I spent 2 years scrapbooking photos for both of my wedding albums and didn't get much done for my own. But anyway, I have these 3 gorgeous photos of them at sunset, and I wanted to make sure that I got these saved because they're some of my favorite photos of them from their wedding. That mint background paper that you're seeing right now with the kind of gold flowers on it is from Webster's Pages, and the paper is called Happy Dancing. And I didn't write down the collection, so I'm not quite sure what that is. But anyway, so it's that. And then that polka dot paper is from Cartabella Rustic Elegance, and it is the back of the 4x6 journaling card paper. So I am kind of being careful about how I'm putting these on. I think I explained this to you in another video that you're going to see either right before or you'll see before or after this one. I'm not quite sure where it's going to appear yet, but I'm making sure that I can see part of the polka dots when I'm doing this, because otherwise you just see kind of the little chicken wire background. And I like that, but it's not my, you know, I want to get some of that dark pink in there. All right, then I'm now going to do this, make a border. Okay, anyway, I'm going to make a border with this gold foil paper, and that is from Michael's, from the Recollections paper collection there. And I'm using my embossed dot punch. And the one thing is, this punch doesn't normally make embossed dots in that scallop unless you press hard, except in this particular case it did. So just be aware that if you have a foil paper, to press hard enough so you get your dots. All right, so there we go. There's the embossed dot on one side, one border, and then I'm trying to decide, do I want to do a border on the other side as well? The answer to that is yes. So I did this layout for a weekend online crop at the Victoria Marie Facebook group, and I'm sorry, but I did not write down who sponsored this crop challenge, but the challenge was to use your border punches. So I'm going to end up using 2 of my border punches, probably my 2 favorite border punches actually. And I was in the mood to scrap wedding photos. I should make myself a personal challenge to use a border punch I haven't used in a while. That would be kind of a fun thing to do as I'm scrapbooking, maybe this weekend even as I'm doing this. But anyway, you won't see these for a while because I'm about a month or so out. Once I'm narrating, it's about a month before you actually see these. Anyway. So now I decided I didn't want this to be completely symmetrical. So I'm going to add this border punch, and this border punch is the Fisker's Apron Lace border punch. This is an old one, an oldie but a goodie. And the paper that I'm punching there is from My Mind's Eye. I don't know what collection it came from, because it was just a scrap left in my folder of papers for these wedding layouts. I suspect it might be from one of the on-trend collections, but you know, whatever. I really like that it brings in the peach, it brings in kind of the minty green, and then there's, you know, darker shades and lighter shades of all of those. So it just does a really nice job here. And I love how adding this little touch of gold in, you know, how I can add this little touch of gold in here. Their wedding album I did use a little bit of a blushy pink, but largely it was gold, black, and that little bit of blushy pink. So it's kind of fun for me to scrapbook these photos from my own albums using some other colors, because I have actually scrapbooked these 3 photos for their albums as well. I did get a little bit of my ATG on that foil paper, and I just rubbed it off. So now I'm going to kind of play with how much of a reveal I want to use on those borders, so you get to see my head as I look over. And today, actually, I don't have crazy messy hair. I think I was scrapbooking in the afternoon here. All right, so I'm thinking about that, and now I'm going to play a little bit with how much I'm going to reveal here. I did trim up that polka dot matte paper just a little bit, and I had left that. I knew I was going to trim it, but I had left it so that I could trim it based on what my borders ended up looking like. And what I'm doing here is they don't look straight to me here, so I'm just trying to, I'm using a ruler to make sure they look so that they get straight. And that's quite a little process here. You think it would be easy, but it isn't always easy to make things look straight, is it? All right, so I'm trying to make sure that the reveal on that polka dot paper and the reveal on the stripe paper is not the same. And then I did have this little piece of gold left from one of my punches, and I thought about adding in that as another border and decided not to. And especially now that I'm seeing it on the video, I'm glad I didn't. I think it breaks it up a little bit too much. And really, instead of drawing your eye into the photo, I think it draws your eye into that, the border to the right. Hopefully you can kind of see what I mean. And my camera was just a little bit off here, so sorry about that, but hopefully you can see. There's nothing really at the bottom right now, so you don't need to worry about that piece of it. And I'm bringing this closer to line it up for myself so I can see it. And now I can get these glued down a little bit better. And then it was a little bit long, so I'm going to cut that off at the back. I think I'd intended using that pink bokeh paper on the back of this paper, which I absolutely love, but instead I ended up using the mint because I really like it. Okay, and I'm just cutting that down just a little bit because the borders on the bottom ended up being shorter than the borders on the top. And then I think what happened is I took it over to my trimmer to even those up a little bit more because I didn't do such a good job. And sometimes, if nothing else, your trimmer will kind of score to make it easier for you to make a straight scissors cut. All right, so I have this sheet of cut aparts from the My Mind's Eye on Trend collection. It's the Awesome paper, which is the cut apart paper, and I'm kind of playing around with the pieces here. And I like that Love You More card. And there's that cute little We Were Meant to Be. And maybe I'll use that on another layout with them. But I really like this Be Happy card here. Again, the other cards were a little bit too dark and were taking a little bit too much attention away from their photos. I really want the focus to be on the photos in here, or on this layout. So I like how that Be Happy is just sort of sweet in the background, but not too focused here. Now when I'm looking at this, as I'm looking at this now, do you see how the bottom of that card lines up with the horizon line there? I'm going to take care of that though. And I'm kind of seeing it there, so I'm thinking about using that little word strip, but it's not big enough. Kind of toying with adding more things, but adding more die cuts to this just feels like it takes away from the photos as opposed to making them the focus. So I'm going to these words here, these gold foam words, And that comes from Amy Tangerine, and the name of the Thickers pack is Grace. I don't know what collection that came from. I didn't used to write that down, but I'm starting to do that now so I don't lose them. Might be Finders Keepers. So I'm looking at it, it says keeper there, but either way. So I find that word love and I really like how that looks. So I'm going to put that up there. I look at an ampersand, thinking about adding that because it just signifies their marriage, the and, you know, putting them together. That eventually is going to go away, however. And then I try the word cute, which I like, but these photos are very romantic and sort of have a really cool mood to them. So cute was not going to work for me. And then I grab these gold bows that are from the Paper Studio that I've had hanging around for a while. They're from Flea Market Fancy. You can get them at Hobby Lobby. And I use one of those. And that may be my first one that I've used from that pack. And now just for another little touch of gold to put something at the top of that card, I grab my gold sequins. And I don't know where they're from. You can get gold sequins in a lot of craft and hobby shops. So I decide to use 3 of those to put those up on that side of the card. And here I'm being lazy and not grabbing my glue dots, and I'm just going to use my ATG to put this down. I will do that sometimes. I use glue dots most often. All right, there's a still shot coming up and a couple of detail shots. Hope you are all well, and I will be back with another layout again soon. Bye!